This is a story I hate, and telling it might make me break, but I'll tell it anyway. This chapter's about how I had a panic attack 'cause of Wizard101. I really hated that day. Hey guys, it's your girl faeriequeens here, and welcome back to another video. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing amazing. Today I'm going to be doing a story time of the time that I straight up had a panic attack because of Wizard101. For those of you who don't know much about me, hi, I have severe anxiety. I'm not joking, it's awful. Before we get into the story, please be sure to like the video because it helps my channel out a lot. And without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this happened back whenever I was 19 and I am 21 now, so it was about 2 years ago. The day that this happened, I actually talked about it on my live stream that night because I just like to vent to you guys. So you may have already heard the story before, and if you did, that's okay. I'm gonna be going into a lot more detail though. But if you don't wanna watch, I understand. All right. So let's just start out with it. This was back in December of 2019 where I was taking a class called Music Appreciation, and I was in college, by the way. This was at a community college, and I don't know if universities do this as well, but the thing that my college did was it would literally take like the really smart high school kids and bring them over to the college, and they could also take classes with the real college kids, so like me. And because music appreciation was one of those classes, I was one of the only like 19-year-olds in there. Everyone else was probably like 16 or 17. So I didn't really recognize any of these people. They were all from high school and like sitting together, and I didn't know anyone. I always liked to sit in the back of my college classes because I had to be on my phone. I didn't pay attention, so I'd be like... And there were some other girls from the high school who sat by me and did the same thing. So I guess they were kind of like my friends, but not really. They just sat next to me every day. So I am the oldest in the class. It's very uncomfortable because everyone else knows each other and I know no one. Every day I dreaded this class. Now you're probably like, what does this have to do with Wizard101? Okay, just wait. Just calm down. Just wait. So throughout the semester, we had to do several presentations to the class, which I hate. I hate presenting. It's awful, which is kind of ironic because I'm a streamer and I can talk like comfortably in front of 100 people, but whenever they're like face to face and there's like 20 other kids in the room, I can't. Like, I start sweating. It's awful. Well, most of the presentations that we had to do throughout the year weren't so bad. They were just kind of like pick a song off the internet and just play it to the class and then talk about things that you recognize in the song. So like, I could play like an Ariana Grande song and be like, here's a crescendo. Here's a decrescendo. Here's a triplet rhythm. Here's a key change. Just stuff like that, okay? It wasn't the best thing, but I could handle it. Well, our professor had something in mind for us all to do at the end of the semester, and it was called a living composer's presentation. What this consisted of is finding a living composer and doing a presentation over them. So talking about their birthplace, their age, what type of music they compose, why you chose them, just stuff like that. So it couldn't be someone like Beethoven because he's dead. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've gotten through all of these other presentations throughout this class. I think if anything, I should be more confident because I'm older. So you know what? I know who I'm going to choose for my living composer's presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Nelson Everhart. You know who that is? You want to know who that is? That is the composer of the Wizard101 music. But I was excited. I was like, okay, I can do this. This is interesting to me. I love Wizard101. I stream it every day. I love the music. So who cares if I embarrass myself? I'm never gonna see these people again. So a a few weeks go by, and I work and work and work on my Nelson Everhart presentation. I made it super cute. It was like all Wizard101 themed, and I was like, who cares? Who cares? I don't care if people judge me. I was so wrong. I do care if people judge me. Okay, so here it comes, okay. So weeks go by, and I have my presentation ready. It's about 95% ready. I can present it and probably still get a decent grade, but I know that it's not as good as it could be. Well, I don't have much time because it's time for me to present. So I had music appreciation every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I was scheduled to do my presentation on a Thursday. It's the day of it, it's about 95% ready, and I wake up, I'm already having anxiety because I'm like, I always get this way whenever I present. I was having anxiety, but not to the point where I thought that I was gonna freak out. I couldn't really eat anything that morning, but I got dressed in a cute outfit because I was like, well, I'm gonna be having to stand in front of everyone, so I wanna make sure that I look cute. And music appreciation was the first class. It started at 8 a.m. I get there, and I see all of the names on the board, and mine's in the middle. I really wish that it would have been one of the first ones, so that way I could have just gotten it out of the way. But no, my name was smack dab in the center. I get there in the class, I sit down, and I'm having anxiety. I'm going through my presentation, and I'm like trying to make last minute adjustments to it, and I'm just having anxiety. I was trying to calm myself down by like looking at my phone and just like trying to distract my brain. So the first girl goes up and presents hers, and I'm like, okay, her presentation was good. Mine's probably just as good. Second person goes up, same thing. Next person goes up, and at this point, I'm like 2 presenters away, and each person that goes up makes me literally feel like I'm going to throw up. So by the time that the third person got up, I saw that I was coming up, and I was sitting there in my chair, and I was like, okay, calm down, you're fine. Calm down, you're fine. Like, you're fine. Just get it over with and never think about this again. Well, I couldn't, so I was like, okay, let's just go to the bathroom. Okay, let's go to the bathroom. So I took my water bottle with me, and I got up, and I went to the bathroom, and I was trying to focus on my breathing, and I was like, it's fine, it's just Wizard101, it's fine. And I don't know if like subconsciously I was worried about people judging me, or if I was just worried about it not being perfect, but something was causing me to freak out in a way that I never have before whenever it came to presenting. Like, I've always hated it, but this was to the next level. So I was like drinking my water, and I was like, calm down, you're fine. And then I went back into the classroom, sat down, and watched the next person present. Well, I'm next. Whew, I'm really not feeling good right now. Like, I'm really about to pass out. Like, I'm having so much anxiety. So I did the same thing, and I removed myself from the situation, and I ran into the bathroom with my water and with my phone, and I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I don't know what's going on with me right now. I'm about to present, but I'm not able to do this. And she was like, Ashlyn, you're fine. Just go back in there. Go present. And I was like, no, Mom, you do not understand. Like, I'm straight up about to have a panic attack. She's like, okay, just focus on your breathing. And I'm like, Mom, can you come get me? Like, I'm literally not able to do this. And she's like, Ashlyn, you're fine. Get in there and do it. And I was like, I can't. So I was staying on the phone with her, and I walked out of the bathroom, and I was walking around the campus. I even went out of the doors, and I was like, at this point, they already know that I'm supposed to be presenting, but I'm not in the classroom. Instead, I'm walking around campus on the phone with my mom. My book bag and everything is still in the classroom. All I have is my phone and my water, and I'm supposed to be presenting right now. And I was walking around campus, and I was like, I'm gonna pass out. And she's like, no, you're not. It's okay. And I was like, I can't do it. I cannot go back in there. And she's like, why not? And I was like, Mom, they're gonna make me present and I can't do it. I don't know what's going on with me, but I am sweating and I feel like I'm about to pass out. Like, I feel like I could cry and hyperventilate. And she was like trying to be empathetic, but she was also like frustrated, and I was also frustrated because I couldn't bring myself to just walk back into the classroom. I could not do it. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go back into the building and I'm just gonna stay in the bathroom until the class is over, and then I'll grab my stuff and then I'll go into the next class. And she was like, so what? You're just gonna get a 0 on the presentation? And I was like, Mom, I don't know. I can't think about that right now because, like, I'm going to pass out. So we got off the phone and I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I went into the bathroom and I sat on the toilet for the next 30 minutes until class was over. And then I noticed that the time was done for class to end. I waited about 5 more minutes for everyone to leave the classroom, and then I went back in there to go grab my book bag and grab my stuff. And then there was another girl who was like in there, and she came up to me and she was really sweet and she was like, where'd you go? And I was like, I had to go. I had to go into the bathroom because I was like freaking out. And she was like, oh yeah, they called your name and we were looking for you. We thought maybe you got sick. And I was like, yeah, I know, I was just having a panic attack. And she was like, well, don't worry, it's okay. And I was like, I really hope that the professor will let me like represent it because like, I don't know what happened. And she was like, I'm sure she will, just email her, it'll be okay. So she was really nice. And then I got my stuff and then I went on to my next class and I was just out of it for the rest of the day. If you've ever had a panic attack, you know that it's terrible and it's so exhausting. It like actually physically hurts. I couldn't focus on anything. I felt like I had just like been through a breakup and like cried my eyes out. And I hadn't, like I wasn't really crying. I mean maybe a couple tears, but I wasn't like, ah! No, it wasn't like that. It was just my body was like so physically drained and tired. It hurt. So the end of the day comes and then I go back home and I tell my stream about what happened and blah, 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 blah. Okay. The next day I send an email to my professor and I wish that I could find the email right now, but they actually locked me out of my college email because I don't attend there anymore. So I can just summarize it. I sent her an email and I was like, hi, I'm so sorry. I wasn't able to present. I was in the bathroom having a panic attack and I was just wondering if you would let me represent it maybe to you in private. And like, I understand if you can't make exceptions for me, I get it, but I just really, really struggle with this. And that's why I wasn't able to present. And she was actually really sweet. She told me that I could come in before class started, where it was just like in front of her and a couple other kids who arrived there early. And if I wanted to, I could present it then and like still do it for full credit. So that's what I ended up doing. I was hoping that maybe she would like let me just do it in front of her, but it was okay. So next Tuesday, I arrive to my college campus, freaking out, and I'm having a lot of anxiety, and I'm just like trying to focus. So I'm walking and I see the bathroom that I had my panic attack in, and I was like almost about to go in there, but I was like, don't do it. Because I knew that if I went back into that bathroom, I would be stuck in there again and I wouldn't allow myself to get out. So I just had to push past it and I just walked past it, and then I walked into the classroom and it was only her and a couple other kids. I was making conversation with some of the other kids and telling them like, yeah, she's gonna let me present early and I'm having a lot of anxiety, and they're like, don't worry about it, you're fine. So she let me present and I did my presentation. I showed her all of the Wizard101 music, not all, but I showed her like a lot of it. I showed her like the difference between like Marleybone theme versus like Azteca and like Avalon, and I just talked a lot about Nelson Everhart, who is the composer of Wizard101, and then I told her that like I play Wizard101, and I honestly, the kids that were there who watched my presentation actually thought it was really cool. They actually even played Wizard101 too. I mean, not all of them, but some of them had like played it in the past. My professor was so nice to me and treated me like normal. Like, she wasn't like, oh, don't worry, sweetie, it's okay. Like, she just treated me like I was normal. And then at the end of class, she came up to me and she handed me my card that had like my scores on it. and I got like I don't even remember what I got. I didn't really care. Honestly, I was just glad I got it over with. And she was talking to me about why I like felt the way that I did. And I was like, honestly, I don't really know why I felt that way because I'm a streamer and I can stream in front of like 100 people and not freak out. But whenever it's like 20 people in person, I freak out. And she was like, oh yeah, that is kind of interesting. And that's about it. I will never forget that day. Literally, I'll never forget that day. It was awful. If any of you guys can relate to panic attacks or anxiety attacks, I feel for you. I really do. I'm so sorry if you can relate. So that is the story time about how Wizard101 gave me a panic attack. If you guys want to see more storytime videos like this one, please be sure to leave a big thumbs up and a comment down below. Bye!